welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and like the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content. Thank you for watching. Hello everybody, it is actually currently my third week in Germany as you guys are watching this. Also, fair warning, I wrote this months ago, maybe like a year ago to be honest, so it's bad. But for this update was originally going to be the fourth part of the Pocket Challenge, however my writer's block said fuck you, so here's this. This has been in my drafts for a very long time, so yeah, enjoy. Suna awoke to find his body hanging outside of a tub. His tail was so long, only his torso was submerged. He winced at the dryness he felt. It was like being stranded on a desert island with no water. He strained against the walls, but only managed to spill more water over the sides. He cursed before looking over. The human. His eyes widened at the hazel ones that he met once more. That's right. When they met, a flash of light appeared, but the next thing any of them knew, they were here. Wherever here was. Suna felt his entire body in overdrive, fearing what would happen next, what the human would do. He paused, noticing that same look of fear on the brunette. The way he would cower against the wall, trying to escape, but obviously unable to do so. That's when the merman realized that he shouldn't fear someone who is afraid of him, more of be afraid of the thing that brought them here. Rattling of chains caught his attention. Both pairs of eyes darted to the side of them, meeting ice-cold silver eyes. To his horror, Suna wasn't just in the presence of a human, but also a fae. You've gotta be kidding me. He mumbled quietly, but that was enough to make the human flinch. The hell? The face squirmed, not doing much with his wings chained up. Seeing them together in one room, basically bounded to the room in their own way, sent Suna panicking. What happened to Goshiki? He was both with him and the human, so why wasn't he here? Unless he was already dead. No. He shook the thought, trying to twist his hips to get to his side, but ultimately popped back down, splashing more water out. The fae looked towards the struggling merman, not even noticing his or the human's presence until the noise happened. Suna gasped, taking in too much oxygen for his lungs that had only ever known water. The air burned. Osamu walked over to the tub that was close to empty because of all the splashing. Suna wasn't squirming to get out anymore, more of cupping his hands with water and pouring them over his dry, dehydrated scales. You need water? Osamu knew the dangers of talking to a different species, but he wasn't a heartless bastard. The eyes connected, and it was almost as if time stopped for a moment. Suna vigorously shook his head, his throat too dry to pronounce words. Osamu looked around, trying to find something to help. He found a few jugs of water in the corner of the room where the human was. However, his chains didn't allow him to go that far. He frowned. If his hawk was there, he could have thought of something. A human. The said human practically jumped 2 feet in the air. Yes? The fae sensed the fear and sighed. Do you think you can help me out and hand me those drugs? He glared at the two. Why should I help you? Osamu sat down so that he wouldn't tower over the smaller. That earned a whine from Suna, who is grasping at mere straws for water. Look, I know this is weird to say the least. And you've probably never seen our kind before. I mean, this is the first I've ever seen of both of your kinds. For some reason, our encounter didn't kill us. Suna peeked over the top with his golden eyes. Regardless, we can't just sit here and rot. We need to get out at some point, right? Oikawa let his knees fall from his chest, slightly letting his guard down. He sensed the genuine care from the Fae. I personally think we could get out, but that would mean that we have to work together. Osamu smiled softly. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet different species. Why not make the most of it? Suna wheezed, the water over his scales not doing much for him. Osamu jumped, alerted. Before Osamu could ask again, Oikawa was up and dragged one jug at a time to dump over to the merman. Once the tub was filled to Suna's relief, Osamu walked around with the last jug and poured it over his golden tail that hung out of the tub, although most of the water ended up splashing on the floor. Suna gratefully let his head submerge in the water, breathing it and letting his poor lungs have a breather. After a couple of minutes, the raven's head popped back up the water, both the Fae and human right above him. Wow. Thank you. Both of you. Of course. He smiled. Can you not breathe air? For a second, Suna thought he heard concern lace his voice, but shrugged it off as something he just heard from his water-like brain. I can, but not for long periods of time. He shook his head in understanding. There was an awkward silence. Can you breathe water? Both the Fae and human busted into a fit of laughter. Nope, not a bit, although I can hold my breath for a bit. Lucky, humans can hold their breath for like a minute. What? That's pathetic. His eyes widened. No offense. Aikawa laughed. Trust me, none taken. What do you mean by that? Curiosity piqued the human's blunt statement. Aikawa sighed and settled down, leaning against the tub. I've never even known anything as far as humans go. I mean, I personally believe aliens are real and no one can convince me otherwise. But anyways, it's only today that I found out other life on Earth. You never knew about us? Merfolk and Faes? He smiled sadly. No, humans are weird like that. They cast off what they refuse to believe. If it's out of their control, then it's feared and thought of as a myth. And humans are pathetic. Not just by beliefs, but rather than... Merfolk have scales and tails. They've discovered the 80% of ocean that humans can only dream of. Hell, you breathe water. In Faes, they have huge wings that take them anywhere in the world. They can fly. It took humans hundreds of years to find a way to venture the sky. Humans are pathetic and weak. The other two frowned. I'm surprised you haven't wiped us out, given all of the advantages. Osamu couldn't help but laugh lightly. If you look at it from that view, then yes, we both have the advantage, but... From our point of view, humans are much more advanced than the Faes. And merfolk. You have technology and weapons. We don't. Fae still use swords, and I know humans have... what are they called? Guns? Yes, those. How do you know about those? Well, it's what... His lips thinned. It's what shot my brother down. Aikawa gasped. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. You don't need to apologize. You're the one that did it. Yeah, but... you can't be responsible for everything humans do. I mean, I'm sure faes have killed humans. It's the same with merfolk. I mean, have you ever heard of sirens? Aikawa shivered and nodded. If it's the same from our mythology, then yes. What? I'm missing something. Suna chuckled. With merfolk, we have different types of breeds. Call it like humans have races? Yeah. Well, sirens were made to kill. That was their only duty in life. If they didn't bring food, then they would resort to cannibalism. Wait, what? Sirens were the one breed even the kingdom couldn't control. As humans might know, how sirens got their kill is they would wait for sailor boats. They had the world's most enchanting voices. Sailors were drawn to the voice and ultimately they drowned. After the agreement the lords made, sirens died out quick because they would die once they met humans, their food. But legends say that even to this day, you can hear their songs in the deepest parts of the sea. What is this? Horror stories by the campfire? Campfire? Once again, the air breathers laughed. We got a lot to teach you. But it's the same way for faes. We had Valkyries. Although they were actually controlled, they were the king's executioners and battle weapons. I got Einstein. Who the heck is that? Someone with bad hair. Suna shook his head, dunking back into the water for a bit. The other two waited patiently with their own small talk. They knew the position that Suna was in was no joke. Once Suna came back up, he was met with Aikawa up close. Whoa! Your ears! My what? Sorry, I just noticed how different your ears are from mine. Suna looked at the humans. They were round and small. Extremely different. Suna pulled the lock away and tucked it behind his ear. Suna's ears, like every merfolk, had long, pointy ears that had slits more like gills to help breathe. Yours are different from mine as well. Suna looked at the fae. His ears were smaller, but much longer. The length helps with speed and trajectory when flying. Damn, I feel so boring. They laughed together. Even though they were trapped and possibly about to be killed, they were happy they found each other. Osama groaned. Both boys looked over to see a pained look on the fae's face. What's wrong? The chains rattled. My wings are cramping up. They are not really supposed to be kept in one spot for too long. Aikawa quickly got behind the fae. Is it okay if I try? There's no harm in it, so why not? I just didn't know if they were sensitive and wanted permission before I do anything. Osama smiled. Thank you. Aikawa hummed. His fingers grazed the soft feathers. Wow, they are really soft. He wrapped his hands around the chain, finding a lock. He frowned. There's a lock. Ooh. Suna pulled a scale off of his tail. Wait, stop! Aikawa gasped. Why did you do that? Suna tilted his head in confusion. Doesn't that hurt? This time it was the merman's turn to laugh. I shed a lot of scales. I mean, fresh scales would hurt and enough of those could be fatal, but this is an old one. Thank God. He let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. This might help. He handed the golden scale. Osamu instinctively narrowed his eyes at the gold. Scales are razor sharp, so you might be able to pick the lock with it. Akawa's eyes lit up. That might work. After many more minutes of fidgeting with the lock and a couple more scales, the lock busted open. Osamu let out a groan erupt from his throat, while stretching his wings out and wide, a couple of bones and joints satisfyingly popping. Whoa, your wings are huge. They are like 2 additional you. That doesn't make sense. Now it does. What? Their laughter and chatter quickly silenced when the door opened. Akawa gasped and tried to blend his body in the tub. Suna gripped onto the side of the tub, ready to fight if needed. Osamu was at the front with one hand out, blocking their captor's view of the other two, and the other already held in a tight fist. His wings were out and fierce, like each feather was a blade ready to pierce its victims. What do you want? He snarled. One of the 3 people chuckled. No need to be so uptight, my son. What? He ripped the robe off, revealing his own wings. Osamu stumbled backwards until his resolve came back. Giving up so soon? And here I thought you were looking for this. He pulled out a hologram of a blonde fae with golden wings. He smiled sadly. Sumu! He ran over. Samu, The hologram was cut off with a single swipe, turning the twins' attention back on the Lord. What did you do with my brother? The fae chuckled. I did nothing to him. In fact, he is safe and happy. The moment of relief was cut short when the Lord appeared behind Osamu, kicking him harshly in the back of the knee, causing him to crash into the ground. The silver-haired boy yelped when the Lord's foot pressed down against his wing, pinning him to the ground. Osamu! Eyes on me. The Lord pulled down his head, revealing scales delicately decorating his face. He grabbed Suna's chin, pulling him in to have his full attention. But you have legs. Suna shrunk back in the tub, feeling completely vulnerable. Their faces were close. My, you look just like your mother. My mother? I don't even know her. What do you know? Changing the subject? That's awfully rude. He frowned, and the Lord went to the side of the tub, kicking over on its side, knocking all the water and Suna out. This grabbed everyone's attention. Suna flailed, trying to get away. Wait, stop! He needs that water. The Lord of the Humans appeared in front of Akawa. Pathetic. He snarled. I'm not. You can't even stand up for yourself. You are no descendant of mine. Who can I blame now? The humans have gone soft and weak. Akawa held his head down in shame. I'm sorry. Stop. Akawa looked over to see the Lord pinning Suna down, pulling off his scales. By the looks of the blood coming from them, they were fresh. You know, we can sell these for quite a hefty price. He held the bloody golden scales up. Suna stared in horror, watching him go back to grab more from his aching tail. The Lord grabbed onto at least 5 of them before ripping it off. Suna felt salty tears pull in his eyes. No. Akawa felt himself try to get up before he was thrown back down by the other human. Did you forget about me? No, he could die. I wonder how much these are worth. He tugged on the scales on his cheekbone, causing the smaller to whimper. Please. It was like his own pleads fell on deaf ears. Atsumu grumbled, trying to get out the Lord's face grasp, although there wasn't much he could do pinned by his wings. Damn it! Suna helplessly tried to use his arms to drag his body, but unable to. Earth's gravity was too different than being in water. His lungs started to burn again. The lack of water hitting him at the worst possible time. Oikawa cursed and ran towards the two merfolk, getting in between them, holding Suna tight into his arms. Don't touch him! He glared at the Lord. For once, he was going to stand up to the enemy, not just for himself, but for others. Even if they were people he just met only hours ago. The Lord of the Merfolk laughed lightly, getting up off of Suna. Oikawa never left his gaze, slowly backing away with Suna in his arms. The ravenet grasped onto his clothing like it were his lifeline. I think that's all we need. The Lord of the Fays released Osamu, who bolted straight to the other two. I'd say so. What's going on? Pardon us for our rude behavior. What happened just now was a test. Osamu pushed the other two behind him, glaring at all three of the lords. A test that you all passed. A moment of silence. What type of test was that? Oikawa gasped at the gushing wounds on the mer's tail. He used a spare cloth he found and applied pressure to the tail, making the smaller hiss. As you all know, none of our kind really like each other. In this world, it's a word of kill or be killed. Our test was to see how well you three work together, and you passed. You saved Suna's life, even though he's a different species. I had to. He might have just met, but it actually felt real around both of them, something the humans can never give me. Whoa now, don't go start hating your kind. After all, you are their future lord. Oikawa paled. What? What do you mean? I think a little introduction is needed. My name is Keishin Yukai, Lord of the Fays. My name is Atatsu Takura, Lord of the Merfolk. And finally, my name is Sarayuki Mizuguchi, Lord of the Humans. And you are our descendants, heir lords of our kind. Great, future king and lord. Osamu groaned. Ha, sucks to suck. Actually, I wouldn't say that if I were you. What do you mean? You believe you have no origin. Takura walked over, letting his bright green scales shimmer in the light. That's because I don't. He smiled sadly. Just what has Goshiki's father been telling you? You do have a father, and a mother. Your father is a cruel, vile person that only seeks out his own selfish needs. He is the king. Karma must suck. Oikawa elbowed him in the side, silently telling him now isn't the time. Suna's eyes widened. That can't be. Not that monster. I know. If I had the power, I would throw him off the throne myself. In fact, it was he who killed your mother, protecting you. Suna stilled. He didn't understand why he felt this way. The rage increasing in his muscles didn't make any sense. He never met his mother, so why? Your mother is also my descendant. She found out soon after she gave birth to you. She ran away knowing that you'd be in danger. She gave you to her dear friend, Goshiki's father, to raise you. His breath hitched. Wait, he knew? My family and everything? How come he never told me? I don't know his reasoning behind his actions, but I have a feeling it had something to do with your mother's fate. He didn't want the same to happen to you. So why can't you, kick his ass now? Yukai laughed. You're really something, kid. We are the lords that made the pact to never meet each other's kind. Yeah, and? That was hundreds of years ago. Yeah, and? During the Great War. Yeah, and? Bitch, we're dead. Yeah, wait, what? Takada looked over at Yukai. What? I don't know him. Didn't you just say I was your descendant? Future lord? Oh god. Yukai slapped a hand over his head, feeling a migraine coming. So, how are you here if you're dead? We are mirages, sent to guide you on the right path before we pass on the duties of being the Lord. They all nodded. Takada settled down, pulling out a piece of kelp. Sorry about earlier. Can I? He motioned towards the injured tail. Suna nodded hesitantly. Kelp? Why not bandages? Kelp is what we use because when we are in water, bandages are useless. I didn't pull too many off, did I? No, I've lost more, so this isn't much. The Lord's eyes narrowed at the merman before settling back to the tail. You have beautiful scales. No wonder your mother thought you were in danger. Golden scales are rare, you know? Really? In all of my years, I've never seen anything like this. The genetics don't really line up either. The king has jet black scales and your mother had light blue. She sounds pretty. He closed his eyes, imagining what his mother looked like only for a second. You're like the spitting image of her too. Takada finished wrapping the kelp around his scales, standing back up. So because we are your descendants, we didn't fall victim to the curse? Precisely. We know that you don't trust us, and you have plenty reason not to. So, here is someone you might listen to. Yukai pulled out the machine that the human created. There appeared the holographic Atsumu. Sumu! He ran up to the image of his long-lost twin brother. Who is that? He is my brother. The one that was... Yeah. So, you're alive, right? Atsumu smiled. I am. Are you safe? Of course. And are... Samu. Asamu's lips thinned. The brother that he thought was dead was alive and well in front of him. Well, holographic. There is something you need to know. All three of you. He turned towards the mer and human. Our world is in grave danger. Very soon, there will be another great war, all three kinds fighting. What? How come? I mean, we have always stayed away from each other, so why? Times change. Even while the lords made the pact, they knew that one day it would end. And that just so happened to be soon.
Correct.
Wait, are you a future lord as well?
Sort of.
What do you mean?
By blood, yes, but not by status.
Status, Sumu, you are the true heir to the throne. Atsumu shook his head.
Osamu, listen. I am not there for a reason.
Goshiki stared in horror. He saw the way the human looked at his brother, Suna. He saw the bright flash of light leaving him all alone. That light took his life. Suna! No response. He wasn't expecting one. It was to no one's surprise. He jumped back into the water, swimming as fast as he could back to home, where hopefully he would wake up thinking this is all a dream. In record time, he barged through the underwater cave that was their home. Father! His father turned around the corner. Tsutomu, how was your day with... Goshiki bursted into tears. They got him. Who got who? He was quick to wrap his son in his arms, comforting the smaller. We were exploring, and then there was a human. Suna. He sobbed into his father's armor, the knight of the king's army. Father, what are we going to do? He grasped onto the armor that's always brought him comfort and a sense of safety. However, that all ended. Forget about that brat. He brought it on himself. What? He stared at his father with wide eyes. Why was he being like this? Didn't he see Suna as his own son? His father pushed him out of the way. If you haven't learned your lesson, I suggest you stay put here. I'm going out. What? No, father. I'll be out for a few days on a mission. Before Goshiki could protest, he was already gone. He fell to the bottom of his fin. He cried. That's all he could do. But if there's that slim chance I could become human, that's what I want to do. What a fool. That was an hour at most ago when he said that. Who knew so much could happen in such little time? Me? A human? They killed him. He sobbed into his deep purple scales. They killed him. No. Whether it be a state of denial or hope, he refused to believe that it was it. And he was gone. He stood up, resolved anew. This might be a long journey. He didn't know where he was going or how long it would take, so he packed extra. He slung the bag over his shoulders, looking back at his childhood home. Hey, Gonrin, I'll bring you back home. You said there was a flash of light, and then he was gone? He tapped his finger impatiently on the throne he sat on. Yes, Your Majesty. He ducked his head lower, feeling the king rise in anger. How could you let this happen? Forgive me, Your Majesty. I'll do my best to bring him back. He flinched, hearing the staff hit the ground. Silence. Instinctively, his jet-black wings cowered behind him. There was a dull, long moment of silence. It was enough to kill Kokunagawa from the suspense itself. Fine. He raised his head. But if we fail to bring him back, it will be your head. Yes, Your Majesty. He bowed his head again before leaving the room a little too eagerly. God, that almost killed me. Damn it, Samu. Where the hell did you go? You're going to be the death of me. Literally. The golden and silver hawk swarmed around the Fae. Yes, I know. Don't worry. We're leaving now to find your masters. Before that timbered king kills off his kingdom. Oh right, that was a very long part, but yeah, here is the second part of 2 different worlds, and don't worry, after I finish the finale of You Are My Mother 2, this will be my main side series, if that makes sense. So if everything goes according to plan, the next video that you'll get after this is the final part of the Pocket Challenge. And just tell me what you like and what you are expecting next from this specific series in part 3. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like to be kept up to date, check out any of my social medias. I hope that you all have a wonderful day or evening.